Hello everyone, and welcome back to my Wine Diary, the channel where everything is related to wine. As our calendars flip their pages to September, my fiance and I decided to launch on a keto journey. We've done keto diet before, unsuccessfully on my end, successfully on my fiance's end, so it's something we decided to try again and do again. And with that came a lot of questions, such as, can I drink wine while on keto? I had to research, I had to read up on it, and I'm here to tell you all that I found out about keto and wine drinking. Starting off with reminding you that keto diet is a low-carb, high-fat diet that offers a lot of health benefits, including weight loss and controlling your blood sugar. For us, the idea behind keto diet this time was to lose some weight, to shed those pounds that we've gained through COVID and staying at home, eating quite a lot, drinking a lot of wine, so basically, that's why we're doing it. Keto diet has a lot of rules, but the main rule, the number one rule, is the low carb content in your food consumption and your drinking habits. So whilst it's pretty easy to read the label of a food item in a store to see exactly how many carbs there are for serving, it is not so easy with our drinks. And for me, I had to figure out how to maintain my lifestyle, at least to some level, still enjoy a drink or two, but not break my keto rules. There is a huge difference between different kinds of drinks when it comes to how many carbs they actually have. Some are okay for keto diet and carbs content, some are just a disaster, and some results were quite shocking for me to see. So good news for us wine lovers is that wine actually has way less carbs than, say, beer does. So a lot of people on keto are safe to drink their wine, and that's what they're switching to. The not so good news is that wine still has some carbs, and you have to be careful about what wines you're drinking and how much of it you drink. Now, an honorable mention here has to go to our pure spirits. So those liquors like gin, vodka, whiskey, and tequila. So all of those, because of the process of distilling that they have to go through, actually have zero carbs at all. So that's a fantastic news to you if you are a cocktail drinker, if you are a spirit drinker. Wine still has them. Now, jumping back on the spirit side for a second, be very careful and don't get fooled by those cocktails, because a lot of times they actually have all of the sweeteners inside. Even if they have something with berries or fruits mixed in them, they will have a lot of carbs. So the sweeter your cocktail is, the more carbs it will essentially have. So the safest way to go about drinking when you are a spirits drinker, when you just like drinking liquor, is either taking shots or mixing it with something completely pure of carbs, such as club soda, or say zero Sprite, zero Coke, diet sodas, or anything like that that will not have any carbs in it. And even though I enjoy my tequila and gin every once in a while, I was not to give up on wine, so I did a lot of research and actually found some of the options and some of the solutions for having a glass of wine here and there on the keto diet. The rule of thumb here for us is to stay below 20 grams of carbs on the keto diet. Some people go completely cold turkey and they completely throw away carbs from their lives and go with zero carbs every single day. My rule of thumb is, here and there you will get them anyway, so try to stay as low as you can, read the labels, make sure you watch what you order in restaurants and cafes if you go there, and just try to keep it below 20 grams. So with that in mind, I think it's pretty safe for us to say that wine in moderate consumption is a pretty safe alcoholic beverage on a keto diet every once in a while. Dry wines, whether it's red or white dry wine, usually contain about 0.5 grams of sugar per glass. And the byproducts of fermentation, such as glycerol, usually don't put that much pressure on the sugar residue and the sugar content of wine at the end. So I think it's pretty safe for us to assume that an average glass of a red or white dry wine has about 2 to 3 grams of carbs. Again, going back to staying under 20 grams of carbs on a keto diet per day. You can see the picture here. You can still have a glass or two of wine. If it's a dry wine, if it's the right type of wine that is very low with its carbs. A part of my inquiry about this whole process and about going on this diet was, of course, how do I even know how much carbs are in a bottle of wine or in a glass of wine if there is nothing nutritional on the nutritional fact side on the bottle itself? So how do you find it out? So through my research and through surfing through the internet, I was able to find some types of wine that by default are on the drier side. Hence, the carbs content will be lower. So we will start here with our white wines, and I want you to remember quite a few of them. Mentioning the 3 white wines right now, one of them being Pinot Blanc. That one has 2.8 grams of carbs per a 5-ounce glass. So that is a very low carb content when it comes to wine. So that wine is absolutely safe for you to drink. You can afford more glasses of that one per day if you're on keto. So that one is really good. Pinot Grigio comes second. So that one has 2.8 grams of carbs per a regular glass of 5 ounce. And number 3 is your Chardonnay. Chardonnay usually has 3 to 3.1 grams of carbs per the same amount of wine in a glass. Let's now look into red wines and see how much sweeter they are and how much more carbs are in those. So here we have the absolute leader being Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir stands number 1 on the red wine list of dry wines with only 3.4 grams of carbs per the same amount of wine in a glass, which is 5 ounce. So 3.4 is actually pretty good for a red wine, I gotta say. By default, your white wines will be a little drier, they will have less carbs in them. So 3.4 for a red Pinot, good job, good job. Number 2 on the list here when it comes to red wines is our Merlot. Merlot has 3.7 grams of carbs per glass, 5 ounce again. So not a bad stat either. I would certainly go with Merlot and Pinot if I'm craving a glass of red wine on this keto diet. Now the 2 further wines here that are also worth of mentioning are at 3.8 grams of carbs per glass, and those are Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah. All in all, you can see how we can have some options here for sure to at least have a couple of glasses of wine here and there on this keto diet. Now, when it came to actually buying those keto-friendly wines and low-carb wines, this is where I hit a bit of a wall. So I experienced a bit of a challenge finding those wines and putting my hands to them. Online research showed me that you can be a member of different wine clubs or wineries that produce clean wine. Now, I do this when I say clean is because, you know, this is all very subjective. They're claiming that they're producing wine with less sugar or no sugar at all, and then they add every other potential nature benefit, calling it a clean wine. So you name it. Research into those if you like experimenting, if you like trying new things. If you have any dietary restrictions besides just being on keto diet, you know, you may look into that. For me, what turned me off is that you have to subscribe to their wine club or wine subscription box, and it usually costs quite a lot. I would say that normally with those types of wines, a bottle goes for about $20 to $25, which for me is a bit of a higher end when it comes to price for a bottle of wine. So I wanted to see what other more affordable versions I could find. So not so much, I've got to say, that the internet helped me. So I had to put my mask on and go into Total Wines or ABC Liquors, places where they sell a lot of wine. Total Wine and Spirits, I think that's how the store is called, really won this race for me, because as soon as I walked in, I was able to ask the associate about keto-friendly wines or low-carb wines, and what they do is they pull up a little pad or tablet in front of you, and they immediately type that in, and she was able to, the associate was able to show me the keto-friendly wines that they had in the store. So I immediately had a few selections. I had 3 or 4 options to choose from. I have 3 bottles in front of me here. These are just again, an example of what I was able to find. I'm pretty sure there are much more out there on the market, but let me show you what I've got. The 3 wines that I'm showing you today are here in front of me. You cannot see them just as yet, but I will lift them up and show you. So the price range of all 3 of these were about $11 to $15 a bottle. So you can see how it's already much more affordable than those subscriptions online. Now, are they as good as those wineries that produce clean wine? I'm not sure because I haven't tried those yet, but let's take a look at these. So again, all 3 of them I was able to find going into a store. It was a bigger wine store called Total Wines. So I think that's why I had luck actually finding more than one option. So the first bottle here that I have is actually the one that I will be trying on camera in front of you in just a second. Is a Cabernet Sauvignon 2018 vintage from Clean Company, Clean with a K. When I say company, of course, I mean winery. So this one here immediately promotes the low calorie count per glass, and they put, 85 calories per serving right here on the neck of the bottle. They put 85 calories per serving right here on the label. So they're clearly very proud of the fact that it's a pretty low calorie wine. Now that the camera is focused here, I am showing you the bottle and how it looks like. Again, this wine right here was about $11 or so, and they claim right on the back of the bottle that not only that it has 85 calories per glass, it also has 3 grams of carbs and then whatever protein and fat it may have. So 3 grams of carbs in this one. Remember what I told you, your regular Cabernet Sauvignon has about 3.8 grams of carbs in a glass, so this one is below that at 3. Not bad, not a bad find. The second wine here is the Fit Vine. So the Fit Vine is the one that I've seen in different stores for probably the past 12 months or so. My eye has just been catching it more and more. So this one again is one of those wines where right off the bat they're telling you how it's very low calorie content per glass here, and as it is a low calorie type of wine, it also has less sugar, hence less carbs in the bottle. So here is your Fit Vine bottle of wine of this Cabernet right here. This is a 2017 vintage and it's a Cabernet Sauvignon, like I said. So this one is a Californian wine. We will be giving this one a taste at some point later, and it does not specify precisely how many carbs per glass this one has, but I would assume it probably shouldn't be too far from this one. So I would assume it's probably 3 grams and change in this one as well. Now, the last bottle that I have here is a little funky, but people at Total Wine really recommended this one to me, and they said that online description of this wine was very admirable, in fact. So the bottle itself is really interesting. It's a square bottle. It doesn't really look like wine to me. It has a lot of engraving here. I will show you up close in the bottle. But the company is called Fine Wine. I believe that is the name of it. Fine Wine Cabernet Sauvignon. I will show you the label in a second. And it is, what is the vintage on this one? I don't even see them specifying the vintage. And they do not. Oh, 2016, boy, there's so much everywhere on this bottle here that the 2016, the numbers were absolutely minute. It was really hard to see them. So let me show you the bottle. I have got to say, this is absolutely beautiful. When it comes to packaging, this bottle is absolutely gorgeous. So you can see how it's got some more info on the side. This is the back of the bottle. And right here is my favorite part. Look at all of these engravings. The bottle itself is gorgeous, and I like the fact that it's a corked wine too. So without actually saying that this is a low calorie and low carb wine, I would only hope that it really is and that the store associate didn't just sell me this one saying that it is another clean wine. So I'm going to believe that. I have hope in this humanity, I have hope in people, and I have hope in professionals working in the wine industry, so we'll give this one a go as well. So I will move the two aside and we will be tasting this clean wine first. This wine here is corkless. It's a screw top, so super easy to open. Let's go ahead and crack it open. I have my aerator here with me, so I'm going to put this bad boy in. I did not decant this wine, as you saw, I just opened it on the camera in front of you, but I did chill it to the right temperature so it can be served not completely lukewarm. So let's grab a glass, the aerator is in, pour it in. Putting the bottle aside, let's take a look at the color and everything else we have here. It's definitely the first thing that's striking me here is the color, which is lighter than your normal Cabernet Sauvignon. Usually Cabs are very rich in color. You see that ruby, you sometimes see some hues of purple coming through. This one seems much lighter than that, but it still has a very beautiful color to it. It's definitely a ruby color. Don't really see any other hues to it. So imagine dark, deep red, maybe a little bit of this like scarlet hue to it. It's a very light looking wine. I'm looking at the white-ish background here. So I'm going to show it to you. You guys tell me what you think. So I hope you can see it, and I'm going to swirl the glass for you too. So you can see how this color is certainly lighter than your normal Cabernet would appear. Does not mean it's a bad wine though, so let's go ahead and give it a sniff. It smells very fresh. It does not smell like a normal Cabernet to me. This would be more of a Pinot smell, I think. Very crisp. I smell some berries in this, which is expected every time you have a younger, crispier, lighter red. You know, you would probably be smelling some berries in it. So I smell some berries here. Can't really tell, can't really catch anything else besides that just as yet. Yeah, pretty fresh scent. I smell some berries. The color is beautiful, although it does not resemble a normal Cabernet, but let's give it a taste. So I've tried to aerate it as much as I could in my hand here, as I did let it breathe for a while, but hopefully this is enough for us to get the quality of this wine. Surprisingly so, it has way more body than I thought it would. It has a very smooth finish afterwards, so you really don't have any residue stuck in your mouth. So it's gone nice and smoothly once you swallow it. It coats your mouth pretty well as well. And when it comes to tannins, I would say these are medium tannins here that this wine has gotten. So it doesn't really bite you on the jaw too much. So a very pleasant wine, I've got to say. Let me give it another taste. Yeah, absolutely. Very refreshing and very crisp, yet a lot of body to it and a very smooth finish. Really enjoyed that. As a quality of wine. Normally though, I would not put those qualities towards a Cabernet Sauvignon because I usually expect something much richer and bolder from a Cab. But here, for the purpose that we're using this wine for, and it is to be lower in carbs content for our keto diet, I think it works wonders. So when it now comes to its actual taste, I've already determined that I like it, right? But do I smell the right things when I smelt it? And do I actually taste what I smelled just a second ago too? So as I said, berries that I already smelled. I would definitely say some berries in this one as well. So think about red berries, maybe raspberries or strawberries. It's a very fresh, crisp wine. The only thing I would add to this here on the fruit side would probably be cherries. So it gives, maybe cherries is what gives it a little bit of a depth. So that's why it's got a bigger body and a smoother finish to it. So I'm very pleasantly surprised. Really, really like this one. The color was beautiful. The smell was gorgeous. Taste very light and crisp, yet full of flavors of those red fruits and red berries. So really enjoyed this one. I can tell you with 100% certainty I will be rebuying or repurchasing this one again. the price point wasn't bad, so I'm very pleasantly surprised. Cheers! So here we are. I've reviewed one of the keto-friendly wines that I found in the store readily available for me, so I didn't have to order it online. I have 2 other bottles to try and review. I may shoot another video specifically about those, I may not. Please check my Instagram page as well. The link to my Instagram will be down below. It's there where I usually post some reviews about each wine bottle that I open, so I'd be happy to give you guys an idea how the other 2 tasted. With this particular one, this clean wine with a K, I really enjoyed, and I can tell you I will definitely have a glass or 2 tonight with my dinner, so very pleased with it. Before we finish this video, before we finalize everything, I want to have a few honorable mentions here when it comes to wines. So we already dissected the whites and the reds to see how many carbs are in those per glass, but I also wanted to mention some other ones. The 3 honorable mentions that I have for you today couldn't really been fit into the red or the white categories that I've mentioned before, so those are some sparkling wines. The first one is your sparkling white wine with only 1.5 gram of carbs per glass. That is a fantastic statistics in my opinion, so if you like your sparkling white wines, go for it. It's probably the safest bet that you find. The other 2 on the honorable list that I'm mentioning for you today are practically cousins. One of them is Brut Cava. I absolutely love Cava. I always go for Cava, and it is very nice for me to know that it is safe with keto. So 2.5 grams of carbs per glass. It's the same measurement, so don't think about the flute versus a wine glass. So still 5 ounces of that Cava Brut. A Brut Cava will give you only 2.5 grams of carbs. And then the last one that we have here is your Brut Champagne. So with Brut Champagne, you will have 2.8 grams of carbs, which is still a fantastic statistics in my opinion. So you are safe with those drier, white, sparkling wines, cavas, and champagnes. I am going to wrap this video up here. This is everything that I wanted to tell you today about keto-friendly wines as I'm going further with this journey of keto, which so far we're planning on ending on Thanksgiving, so I still have 2.5 months of it to go through. I will probably find more wines to try and more information to tell you about, so I will keep you posted. When it comes to my actual keto journey, I am vlogging that journey as well, so I will be compiling all the clips that I'm filming through the 3 months on the keto diet and putting it into a video to show you how that diet worked for me and how it worked with my food and drinking habits. So that should be an interesting video as well. Speaking of videos, make sure to check out my other videos by subscribing to my channel. So click on that subscribe button. Please make my day and do that for me. It's free, it's not going to cost you anything, but it will make my day absolutely beautiful. Also click on the little bell, which will notify you of all of the new videos that I shoot on weekly basis. And I think this is pretty much it. I am going to leave all of the links down below for you to check. You guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, cheers.